now it's time to do the 2025 manga that I have read. The pile that I was holding in the picture is actually not the full-size pile that I have with me. And some of the books that I will talk about, I obviously don't have because of the library. And some of the books on this pile might get their own video and won't be part of this big big random talk. I did originally want to talk about the ones that I only read, like book 1, then book 1 and 2, or books, 1 and 3. And I had started writing kind of my notes down on that. But then I started realizing I'm skipping accidental. Like, I would go to, okay, here's all the books that I had with 1, so I'll then move on to the books that I had 2, and then I would go back to look at the list that I had written down. I'm like, oh, this was a single volume book only. So, oops. So what I'm going to probably end up doing is picking from the pile and just starting with whatever was on top, and then going to and just continuing down the line from there. But I do have some single volume only, so I'm going to actually start with those. So, first one is a Star Wars manga, the Legends of Luke Skywalker. It's actually a 4 short stories anthology. So different artists, different style art for each one. Different story going in. Not that picture, not that. Yeah, this one. I actually will talk about this, like each one individually, and then the last one. So, this one was actually a bit of a mixed bag. Like I said, there are 4 stories. In order of my favorite, both in terms of storytelling and artwork, it is, let me see, I wrote it down somewhere, 2, 4, 3, 1. So 2 is called, did they get titles? Yes. My top favorite is called I, Droid, so like iRobot, and it actually, well, before I go back, let me go back a little. These are not told from Luke Skywalker's point of view. They are all told from a third party who happens to, like, ships passing in the galaxy meet Luke Skywalker and run into him in his travels throughout the galaxy. So, I, Droid, the main character you follow is, do they have a good, yeah, they probably do, where? This one is a construction droid who has been modified to be essentially a prison guard for other droids who are mining and essentially slave labor. And so, yeah, Luke, I will spoil these because it's their short stories. Luke actually puts on the armor of basically of C-3PO, and infiltrates the mines and frees everybody. And so we get some other security guards, and Luke uses the Force to restrain the chips that were basically overwriting their original programming, and essentially just frees everybody. And the first droid was like, it was the great Jedi Luke Skywalker, who once freed thousands of slaves on a forgotten world. But I know a deeper truth. Luke Skywalker is not really a great man. He is also, at least partly, a great droid. So obviously this particular story takes place after The Empire Strikes Back, because he has the artificial hand. Then the fourth story, we follow a young biology student. I don't know if we are given her name. No, I don't remember if we're giving her name. But she is studying the life forms on a remote planet. And when requesting a pickup, because, colleges be colleges, they can't afford to send out a ship to pick up their own students when the students are out doing field work. Luke was the one who picked up the signal, and in his A-wing, so obviously this is, again, probably taking place after the Empire Strikes Back. Why do I keep on saying the Revenge of the Sith? No, it's not the Revenge of the Sith. He picks her up and was like, so this is a modified A-wing, that's why I got a second passenger. And they kind of get lost. They follow essentially fairy fire or foxfire in space and enter this cave system, when we realize, oh no, it's not a cave. It's that, the one that lives on asteroids that Han Solo almost got trapped in. So they actually survive within the cave of this worm, and it is its own ecosystem. So, her being a biology student, she's like, there's this whole living world, a biology wonderland within a biological creature. Ooh. No, I'm not. Not being sarcastic, but I didn't mean to be sarcastic. It's just, it was a really good story, and really bittersweet. This one I won't spoil, but it's bittersweet, and we do see, this one gives Luke definitely more pathos in regards to emotions. He is still weighed down by Obi-Wan's sacrifice, and the stuff that happens in here really brings that forward, and he is struggling to make a decision that will save him and the biology student at the cost of the lives of others who are willing to sacrifice themselves to save these two, because I guess I am going to end up spoiling it. They find people who practice a way of force manipulation that they call it the weave, and like a spider web. And they basically realize that, hey, we're stuck in this worm, but instead of dying, let's stop our time. Let's, cast a web around us. And hold on, let me fix my camera. That we're going to cast a web around us to basically freeze us in a little time bubble. They meet up with, Luke and the student find them. And the three in the cocoon, that's essentially what it is, are like, oh, they're trapped in here with us as well. We cannot save ourselves. We've gotten to the point where we can't save ourselves anymore. But what we have learned in this cocoon can save them at the cost of our lives. And Luke is like, no, don't do that. You have to live. And they're like, no, we're going to die anyways, and we've accepted that. But if our sacrifice will free you, then we're going to do it. So yeah, this I liked this one because Luke is very, very much a human in this one. Then we've got, oh, and I forgot the story. The title for number 3 is Big Inside. No, number 4, sorry, is Big Inside. Number 3 is The Tale of the Lugubrious Moat. This one actually has really good artwork. I like the artwork of this one, and we do get a lot of Leia in this because the story is the I don't know if you can tell from Leia's costume. This takes place in early Return of the Jedi, when Leia is captured by Jabba the Hutt. So this story is basically that Luke Skywalker didn't survive the Rancor on his own. He had the help of a sentient flea. Literally in his ear, telling him what to do. Luke never found out that it was a flea. It was the flea and Leia's little secret. But, yeah, it was... It's kind of funny. But the idea behind it is funny. The story is actually well written and well told, and I really do like the artwork. But it's just... I can't. It makes no sense in terms of Star Wars. But it was fun. So I can't exactly hate it. The last one, story number 1, is the Starship Graveyard. This one is... thankfully, it's the first story of the 4, so you only are going up from here. It's a good premise. But the art is really... I'm not a fan of the art, and the way the story is told, things that happen, especially near the end, I just... So what we are, like, again, we are following not Luke, we are following a gunner on an Imperial Star Destroyer. So, and he's obsessed with, like, order and everything. Just everything in its place and a place for everything, which is fine. That's not the biggest deal. He is, and the fact that he's loyal to the Empire isn't a big deal. Not in the story. But his ship gets attacked by rebels. It goes down. It is implied that he is the sole survivor of this Star Destroyer. And they land on a desert planet, and I think it's Jakku. It's... Yeah, Jakku, which... Okay, fine, I guess... This was published... I don't know when it was supposedly inspired... Yeah, adapted from the novel by Ken Liu. So I don't know when the original novel was published. This manga was published 2020. So, yeah, I guess The Force Awakens was already out. I'm not gonna go check. But... So Starship goes down, Star Destroyer goes down, he's the only survivor, his leg is broken, and some random dude has essentially saved him. Is it both legs? Yeah, both legs were broken. So this random nomad in the desert saves him, and the nomad is literally dragging the gunner on a sled to just the nearest outpost, and they meet up with others. The things happen, and the gunner's realizing that, oh, this guy might be Luke Skywalker. it's just the gun is like, are you really like? So Luke drops him off, and he goes, hey, ping your empire. You can be, you're safe here. Ping your empire. The empire will pick you up. And as he's leaving, the gunner goes, are you Luke Skywalker? And he doesn't go back, does not turn around, but he goes like, we're all Luke Skywalker. Okay, that's a fine art. I mean, that itself, that's fine. But the Empire picks the guy up, and instead of treating him as a wounded prisoner of war, they treat him as a traitor and starts torturing him and saying, there's no way you were saved by Luke Skywalker. Luke Skywalker wasn't anywhere near Jakku. And what are you're a traitor, and you're now with the rebels, and yada, yada, yada. And the gunner at the end of the, saves himself, kills his interrogator and torturer, and he's like, no, we're all Luke Skywalker. And I'm just like, oh my god. I just... A good idea, but fumbled so hard on the execution. It just... I don't know. I don't know. I understand wanting to have a ton of heart in a story like this, but no, there's nothing wrong with being saved by the enemy and still being loyal to the bad guys. Oh my god, So obviously, you can tell me I'm not gonna keep this one. This is going to either the little library, or I'm gonna try and sell it. But I don't know. It's a good idea, and I 1 out of 4 being a total stinker is honestly not a bad thing. But so the next one is see you tomorrow at the food court. And this is just one book. It's really cute. It's literally these two sitting right here and just talking about life. And it's actually how female friends behave around each other. Shinichiro Nari. I have not looked up this mangaka. I don't know if it's a he, a she, or they. But this is exactly how female friends are. The way we talk to each other, the way we interact with each other, the way that we don't feel like we have to put on airs because there are boys around and the boys are looking. We are just, we're ourselves. And one of the things that I like is sometimes the poster that's at the behind them is depicting basically what their conversation is about. So I showed you that it was Freddy Krueger, but that's because, that's a green and red striped sweater. And this one was the one who bought it, and she's like, I don't like it anymore. And this one's like, yeah, just give it to me. And so she's putting it on, and she's talking about, hey, this reminds me of, and as she is putting it on, hey, this reminds me of that horror movie. And you've got, let's see, later on, there's one. They do have a that I'll go back to that, because where is no? I guess I can't find it. So at one point they do have a fight, and it definitely does feel like a fight between female friends. It's true to reality. Then they're talking about other girls in their classroom that up until like the very end you don't see her face. Okay, so I'll just, this one, huge mobile gamer fan, and definitely has the problem with gacha games. She's the type who will sink the money into the gacha games, and has fallen hard into one particular character of one mobile game, and has found those self-insert fan fictions, and apparently one of them is her, she absolutely loves one. This one, oh, and she's perceived in classroom as a snob and a straight A student. She's a gremlin. She is a total gremlin. This one is given the thought of, oh, she's just standoffish, she's aloof, she's mean, she's, tan, and I can't pronounce what the stereotype is. Garu... Gayaru? Either way. But she's really chill, and she's actually a fan of horror and paranormal and UFO stuff. So it's definitely, you would not expect the two of them to be friends, and yet they are. So they can relax and be themselves, and I kind of like that. It's cute. It's very laid back. And yeah, no, this one I do recommend. And I would like to see more from my library. I hope they continue to get copies. If not physical, then I would like to see digital copies. Oh, the next one is hilarious. Killer Shark in Another World. Local try so hard that she summons the literal embodiment of every B horror movie shark. But look how cute this thing is. Look at this cutie! Look at the cutie! And when I say the literal embodiment of every horror movie shark, we only get 3 to begin with. But main one is Jaws. Then you have Shark versus Octopus. And then you get Sharknado. And this is not a kid's book. There is blood. There is here it actually says here 15 plus. I would 15. Yeah, you know what? 15 plus is okay. I would personally bump it up to 18 and make it young adult, but that's fine. I mean, there's no nudity. There is a lot of blood, and there is mention of alcohol, not alcohol, but substance abuse. But, and maybe a lot of sexual innuendos, especially towards the later bit. But I don't know. That's up to you. That's your prerogative. But this is not a children's book in any shape or form. It's hilarious, though. It is absolutely hilarious. The art is good, actually. I will say that. And just for the sheer batshit craziness of it, yes, I do want to read more of these. That's... Maybe... I'm leaving my... There we go. There, now they can stay there. Okay, let's see. Go Go Power Rangers! Yeah, Super Sentai Himitsu Sentai Go Ranger. I read and praised Kamen Rider earlier this year as one of my 5-star books of 2025. This one, no, it's not a 5-star. It is a 4-star. You're getting Ishinomori, so you get, you can't go wrong with his art style. It's very unique. It's very much him. But, I mean, there goes my mouth. It's just not as strong, personally. It kind of feels like you get 2 origin stories in here. I don't know. I have not seen the original TV show, so I don't know which of the 2 is closest to what eventually got filmed. But one of them is like a standalone story that would be a great start to what came later, and then the others is more like serialized for publication in manga, or like the Shonen Jump and stuff like that. So I don't know. I recommend it if you want to get into the history of Super Sentai and see where it all started. Because, yeah, go ahead. Kamen Rider. Read Kamen Rider, because Kamen Rider also kind of paved the way for Super Sentai. But, I don't know. This one was not as good, in my opinion, as Kamen Rider. Probably still gonna keep this one though. I don't know. Alright. Now we're getting into the ones that I don't have copies for, but I definitely remember it being a single volume. So I'm gonna try and post up the cover. Versus number 1. When the multiverses collide, humanity uses the killer creatures of each to battle so they can survive. Demons versus AI or Skynet, versus kaiju, versus the plague, versus fungus, etc., etc., etc. Basically, each universe is on the brink of destruction. And somehow, when they all merge into one, they realize, oh, we can't hurt the creatures that are destroying us. But the creatures that are destroying us can hurt each other. So why don't we do that? Why don't we piss each creature off, get them to fight each other, and we'll just kind of try and survive. There are some things that I like the idea of. I don't know. There's like a side character, like companion character that I just can't stand. And I think is really annoying. So if I have to, I don't even know how many books there are on this series. I don't know. This one's up in the air whether I'm going to continue or not. The first book itself was an interesting idea. I do like the idea behind it. And the artwork was good. But I don't know, this one, if I can find book 2, or if the library ends up with book 2, I might read it. I don't know. I'm not going to go out of my way to be like, I need to keep reading this. Villian Actor. Okay, so this one I don't really remember a few things about, other than aliens have come to either conquer or destroy Earth. Humans have awakened, or certain humans have awakened special superhero powers, so it's basically superheroes versus aliens with a poor schmuck of a cop stuck in the middle. But poor smuck of a cop gets caught in the middle and ends up bonded to the very first of the aliens, and it ends up being like a Venom symbiote exosuit kind of deal. I don't know, and it's implied that all the aliens are kind of doing, like, overridden and are wearing the humans as, you know, as a symbiote, as kind of like a Venom deal, except it's not symbiotic, it's more parasitic. I don't know, it's an interesting idea. And again, as with Versus, if I see book 2 on a shelf, I'll pick it up and read it, but I'm not going to be going out of my way to do it. The premise is good, though. I think I'll continue this one because I do like the idea behind the premise. Then the next one is Outsiders. Vampire versus werewolf with an idiot child who poked her nose in the middle. An idiot child, kind of funny, is a daughter of a cop. So kind of, we've got a cop from the last book who is unfortunately stuck in the middle because of circumstances. She stuck her nose in the middle and is now stuck because of... This one I will not continue, though. I liked it. I wasn't a fan of the art. The story got a little convoluted. Like, the story itself is pretty straightforward. I just don't like the kill. And the art is a little rough around the edges. At least for me. I didn't care for it. Rooster Fighter. This one is hands down, yes, I am going to continue this. Because your main character is a rooster who goes after essentially transformed humans who let the dark voices get to them, the dark voices in their head. So you get someone who's like, oh, I can't do anything right, I suck, I need to do this, I'm everything I touch is over. And then they just transform into these monsters that will just rampage and destroy and eat everything. The rooster has figured out how to, kill them. So he is now traveling around looking in particular for one monster, because it's a revenge story, because of course it's a revenge story. And so, this one is definitely one I'm like, more please, more. RuriDragon. A half-dragon hits puberty and her dragon traits start showing. She also didn't know she was a half-dragon until the horns started coming out of her head. And so it's basically her finding out, like, she just figured she was, the father was never in the picture. It was just her and her mom. But her father is a legit dragon. And her mom's like, yeah, she's human right now. We don't know if the dragon's going to come out. And then the dragon comes out and she's like, oh yeah, by the way, your dad's a dragon. I said, what? But this one's definitely a more please. More. It's cute. The art's cute. The story's cute. Yeah. Obviously also, I'm a big fan of dragons. My name is Zero. This one is essentially play an MMO, earn money in real life. But if you die in the game, you die in real life. So, kind of Sword Art Online meets... I don't know. I want to say No Game, No Life, but I've actually never watched the anime, so I can't make any comparisons. I have here Dot Hack Sign meets SAO, but Dot Hack Sign doesn't... Dot Hack Sign isn't, you play an MMO and you earn money in real life. But down on his luck guy with literally nothing in his bank account, because all the money is going to keep his sister alive, who's in a coma in a hospital. So he needs the money badly. So he signs up, yes, I will play this game if you give me real money, without realizing that he's essentially every night being isekai'd into the game. And it is a, holy shit, if I die in this game, I'm dying in real life and nobody can protect my sister. But he has the sixth sense of being able to kind of know the future. Like, he's got this ability to, it's not controllable, but he can catch glimpses of the future. So there's things that we learn at the end of the book that are implying that he specifically put his sister in a spot that he was originally going to sit in, because if he sat there, he was going to die, but there was a likely chance that his sister was going to survive. And so he's racked with guilt because he believes that it's his fault. Like, he wanted his... I don't know if he wanted his sister dead, or if he just was risking, he just didn't want to die, and he was going to use his sister as collateral, and now he's having, survivor's guilt. I mean, the idea is good. The concept's good. If I see book 2, I might pick it up. Yeah. The Holy Grail of Eris. This one I did actually enjoy. It's a ghost story where a young girl who is essentially a wallflower and is being walked all over agrees to the help of a ghost of someone who was killed as a witch. And the ghost is like, okay, well, you help me, I help you. Or, I help you, you help me. And the help that I want you to do is help find my murderer. Like, yes, I was beheaded in public, but I want you to find the person who pulled the strings, who got me there. So, this one I do like. And the artwork's actually really good, too. So, yeah, this one I'm not going to go out of my way to look for it, but this one I do want to kind of continue. It's not like an ambivalent one. I'm just like, oh no, this one is on my radar. Let's see. Toying After the Apocalypse. A girl, a robot, and a scooter try to follow in the girl's older sister's footsteps by visiting all the places the sister posted online before the end of the world. So, yeah, this one's cute. I don't know if the sister is still the older sister is still alive, or if the younger one is just kind of following in her older sister's footsteps as a way of connecting with the older sister because she's no longer around anymore, and the younger sister was too young to be with the older sister before the apocalypse happened, and they had to go all down into bunkers. But it's, this one's cute. It's a little bittersweet, but it's cute. I would like to continue. Junji Ito's Frankenstein. Do I need to say more? It's Junji Ito, and it is Frankenstein. It's going to be really interesting. It's going to be really... I wouldn't say scary, because in of itself Frankenstein isn't scary, but Junji Ito drew the monster. And the monster's... Oh yeah, the monster is scary. So, yeah, that one... I did not really care for the other stories in that compilation because, yeah, they don't... It may have just said Frankenstein on the cover of the book, but it wasn't just Frankenstein because that was actually a very short manga. And so, yeah, they kind of had to fill the book was probably, it's one of your Junji Ito hardcovers. So, yeah, they had to, fill it up. It was a little bigger than this one. But, they can't just... They had to justify the price of a hardcover. But yes, if you can just read the Frankenstein, Junji Ito's Frankenstein, yes, do so. It is really good adaptation. I actually have to see the Netflix movie. I just haven't been able to sit down. Like, I can put it on as background noise, but I want to pay attention and watch it. So I haven't done that yet. Let's see. Anything that is a volume 1 that I did not. Let me go. Okay, so then let me go to the front where all the ones are listed. I am the evil lord of an intergalactic empire. So this one is half. No, I wouldn't even say half revenge. It is a rebirth story where the main character basically had a shitty life and was given the chance of having a new one. And he's like, yeah, sure, I'll take it. My life here sucked. Maybe this next one would be better. And ends up just being like, you know what? Fuck this life. I'm going to make sure everybody else is miserable. And everything I'm going to do is I'm going to do for myself. And yet, at the same time, he has taken a land that was essentially falling apart. Nobody wanted it. It was literally foisted onto him because once he became a certain age, his parents are like, this is your problem now. Peace. And he's just like, well, fuck that. I'm just going to, I'm going to do everything for myself. I don't care about the people. And yet at the same time, he is failing epically and actually making his people love him because he is fixing the shitty also some of we do go back to Earth after his passing, and we do learn a little about what some of the things that happened after his death. And Komi's a bitch. Someone was definitely pulling strings, but Komi's a bitch. I would like to continue, but I'm not going to be going out of my way to be like, I need. Okay, then I guess I'll go into the ones that have book 1 and 2. I have here, if the villainess and the villain met and fell in love, book 2, because I read book 1 earlier, last year or a couple of years ago. So I'm going to talk about both. And the story is, you have your villainess, who is actually really super smart. She is just kind of like the black sheep of the family. The family's supposed to be these uber powerful people, and yet she's, the weakest of the bunch. They all have like at birth they're kind of bonded with an elemental spirit of some sort, and the more powerful the spirit is, the stronger it is, it has a name. When she tapped the globe to say, hey, this is your spirit, it basically said, yeah, your spirit's nameless. So it's implied she's got the weakest spirit of all, despite the fact that her family is renowned for being very strongly attached to powerful fire elemental spirits. So yeah, she is the pride and joy of her family. So she's like gone out of her way to study and just go into, like, she's trying to find a way into the world without having to rely on a spirit she can't summon, because there's no power to it. There's no name, so she can't summon it without a name. And I know I'm looking off camera because I'm trying to think of what I want to say, but then so she falls in, like, the crown prince is also at the school that she goes to, and they were going into, they were dating, and he just keeps saying, oh, I like a girl like this, or I like a girl like that. So she starts changing her personality for him, and now she's got the reputation of being an idiot and an airhead, and she's like, yeah, at this point, after the prince breaks up with her quite epically in front of everybody, because of course you have to have your stereotypes. She's just like, okay, well, I've already got a shitty reputation. I can't go further down. I got a shitty reputation at school. I can't summon my elemental, and I am just, yeah, you know what? Fine. Everybody wants to ignore me. Fine. I will just use this to go back to studying because I can finally do what I want to do, and nobody's gonna bother me. Except she runs into the villain, which is basically the one guy who doesn't give a shit about anything. It's the one guy the crown prince can't bully into doing what he wants. He is the owner of 2 very powerful spirits, which is very unique in this world. One is Udine, and the other is Fenrir, so a water spirit and an ice wolf. And the villainess, the main female, is fire. So obviously you have to have opposite attracts. Plus she's got the red hair, he's got the blue hair, and yeah, I like it. Obviously I've been babbling on about it for a while. I like it. I would like to see more. I would like the library to get more. I just don't know how much has been translated into English right now. Okay, so is that all my single ones? All my single manga? Sorry about that. Dotsons. So I think that was all my single... Oh, no, I have, well, My Happy Marriage was volume 5, so that's a 5-volume, yeah. But I can basically say it's, basically Edo period Japan meets Cinderella with a touch of supernatural and magic powers. Yes, do read it. Okay. Any 2 books? Knights with a Cat and A Man and His Cat. 2 separate mangas. Knights with a Cat. I read books 1 and 2. A Man is a Cat. I read volume 3 because I read volumes 1 and 2 earlier. But you know what? Cats. I'm gonna yap about cats now. Cats and manga. Knights with a Cat is, you've got it's a munchkin. I'm pretty sure the cat is a munchkin breed. And the sister moves in with her older brother because she's studying for college, and she brings a cat. And I think she found the cat in one of those, please take me home kind of boxes. So the 2 of them are figuring out what it's like to own a cat. And the cat has clearly latched onto the boy. Tolerates the sister, even though, she's like, but I'm the one who found you. The cat is clearly latched onto the boy because, of course, the boy is like, okay, you exist over there, I'm gonna exist over here. And the cat's like, no, I'm gonna exist over here now. And it's just kind of cute watching them react to just the cat being a cat and doing weird cat things because cats be weird. Whereas A Man with His Cat is, you've got the older gentleman who lost his wife and is lonely, and he's never taken care of an animal before, especially cats. And the wife has always wanted a cat or a dog, but specifically cats. And so he's like, well, she always wanted a cat. She's no longer with us. I'm home alone. Okay, I'll give having a cat a try. And finds the ugliest cat in the cat store. And oh god, it is such a cute story. It is just, it's so wholesome. We see the story from both the old man's view and the cat's point of view, and it's just, oh my god, yes. Cats are cute. Cats are funny. Fukumaru is not as funny as the cat in Knights with Cat, which I don't remember how they pronounced it, but it's essentially QR code. Like the cat is named QR code. But Fukumaru is just, yeah, it's an ugly cat. But he's so cute because of how much he just wants to be with the old man. And the old man is just so cute, just gushing over this cat. Like any cat owner would do, or any dog owner does, because yeah, there's a dog owner who, one of the old man's friend is a dog owner who just gushes over his dog. And it's just, people gushing over animals, and it's so cute. And yes, I'm gonna keep reading. I'm gonna actually keep reading both. Yes. Anything else? Technically, I only read 2 volumes of... Let's see. Okay. I mean, I read 2 volumes of Komi Can't Communicate. Okay, so this is Editing Ash, and I have actually read 11 volumes of Komi Can't Communicate. I only just had the 2 on me at that time because I had been reading them since pretty much on and off since August. So August to December, 11 volumes. I'm going to just say pretty much exactly what I said in the main video, but I just wanted to correct myself and say that I have read 11 volumes this year of that particular manga, Komi Can't Communicate. 11 volumes is a lot, yes. So I will just say we make we make a new friend with a young girl who at the end of her little arc is in America or goes to America. So she actually shows up like the last day of the New York City trip. So I'm guessing she moved from Japan to New York City. And they hold the Komi and the little girl hold a little competition of who can get to 100 friends faster, which I think is cute. Then we have the school festival, which takes place, I think at least 2 volumes, maybe a third. I don't remember. I do remember with that volume or that little mini arc, the blonde friend realizes that she has a crush on the boy as well as Komi. So now Komi and her both know that they each have a crush on the boy, and they're like, well, we don't want the competition, but we still want to be friends. So no matter what happens, we're going to still be friends. We're going to still respect each other. We're still going to try and, pump each other up to confess their feelings to the boy, which I think is absolutely the sweetest little thing. It's so wholehearted that instead of being rivals, they're going to be, and hate each other. They're going to be rivals and hate each other. No, they're going to be rivals and yet still root for each other because that's what friends do. But it's also one of the funniest things because at some point, since the 2 girls are like the main female actors in their respective plays, yeah, because they put on like 2 plays. God, this school is just over the top, and this class itself is just over the top. They're like, wait, we need Komi, but Komi, because it's Komi's play that's currently on scheduled to be on stage, and everybody's freaking out because Komi's gone missing because she's talking with her friend. So we're like, we need to go. So it's the boy, we're gonna cross dress, and he's like, what? It's actually kind of funny because at some point they all realize that he actually makes a really good cross-dress, he makes a really good girl. And also because of the nature of the play that he and Komi are in, every boy in the school is now out for his blood because, oh god, Komi is basically confessed, like the Komi actor, the character Komi plays, confesses her love to the character that the boy plays. And of course, just parasocial relationships and being what it is like everybody's thinking, oh no, Komi confessed her love to the boy, not the characters. And so they actually had to keep the boy in the cross dress every time he goes out with either the blonde friend or Komi, just so that all the boys are like, where is he? I don't see him. And he's like, he just passes by in the hallway and dressed up as a girl just because he's like, I don't want to die, I don't want to die, I don't want to die, I don't want it's actually kind of funny, and the reason I'm bringing it up is because in one of the New York volumes, female version of him shows up. It's like, why did someone must have packed the wig on that trip for no other reason than just to toss him into it. So yeah, just a little correction, but everything I say afterwards is pretty much for the 2 volumes that I had in hand at that point. Thanks. But do you want, should I yap about all 22 books that I've read so far? Well, I mean, I'll just give a brief overview of, obviously I'm continuing the series because, I'm 22 books in. But, I mean, it's a cute story. Yes, it's a very cute story of, Komi making friends, and just, it's a slice of life. It's very cute. These 2 in particular have basically it's basically New Year's and the school trip to New York. So I'm sorry, a school trip to New York City in high school. My high school trips were to Disney. So this high school is definitely. They did, I think, in one volume visit Kyoto. Oh, am I confusing with Assassination Classroom? Yeah, 22 volumes in it. I don't remember much. Wow. Okay. But yeah, it's just, it's such a cute story. Komi is so adorable, and the cast of characters is just hilarious. Because that's what they are. They are characters. The only normal one is Komi. Komi, I'm pardon me while I Manbagi. Yeah. So Komi, Manbagi, and does he show up? Tadano. He doesn't show up in any of the covers. Tadano are like the only sane ones in the story. Because even Tadano's sister is a bit kooky. Yeah, it just... More! Yeah, that one's definitely going to be a continuation. Okay, so I'm going to do the 3 volumes that I like, the books that have 3 volumes, or that I've only read 3 volumes. Okay, these 3: Crest of the Stars and Banner of the Stars 1 and 2, which is basically a space opera with space elves. And it gets political. And the last book really gets adult. This one says teen, ages 13 plus. No, this one I would say 15. These two could probably get away with being, definitely this one can get away with being 13 plus. This one crosses, this one's a little touchy. This one definitely needs to be adult. Also, if you can't tell, there was a change in artists between books 1, 2, and 3, just by the cover art. It does not make any difference to the story. Personally, I think it makes no difference. It is a bit jarring, but it really makes, at the end of the day, makes no difference. It just kind of ends abruptly. That's my only issue. Something happens that takes, like, this whole book is basically one plot line, and then it just ends, and I'm like, more please. I did watch, I'm not sure if it was an OVA or an anime. I watched the animation based off of this, and there were some episodes that did not appear in here. I don't know if they appear in the light novel, but I'm not gonna go and find the light novel. I might. I don't know. I might. But for now, this is a completed trilogy. I am going to put this up for sale if anybody wants. Because, yeah, I do recommend it. The only one that I personally reread is this one. I just feel like it should be moved on to other people now. Okay, so that's it for the ones that I physically have a copy of. Okay, Bocchi the Rock. I started reading it because I saw clips of Bocchi spazzing out with her anxiety, and it kind of reminded me of, Komi can't communicate, but I don't know. It's good. I did check out, when I first started it, I checked out books 1 through 5, but I only read 3, up to 3, and then I kind of skimmed 4 and 5. So I might continue, but I'm not gonna sit down and read each page, because there's a lot going on, and I don't know. It wasn't capturing me as I had hoped. Then I have, let's see, the 3 Exorcist Siblings. Okay, this one I think I have written some of my thoughts down. Oh, no, here's one. Okay, I do see some books that have 2. Undead Unluck. This is definitely an adult. This one's pure adult, just because of it is artistically removed and things cover it, but there is a nude man, especially in book 1. But the world's unluckiest girl meets an immortal who wants to die. And then just some shenanigans, and that's basically it. Shenanigans, because this guy is trying to use the unluckiest girl to kind of try and kill himself. And I don't know. There's more to it, but I don't know if I'm going to continue. And then we have a Kingdom of Quartz. In a world of angels and demons, a young girl with black wings dreams of becoming an archangel to protect the people. Little does she know that she harbors a power in her that may change the world. I mean, it's your classic underdog story, and the underdog has a secret power that she doesn't know how to control. I am kind of curious to continue because book 2 ended on a doozy of a cliffhanger, and I do want to know what happens after that. And I have a feeling each book is going to end up on a cliffhanger that's going to keep me going, yes, please, more. So, I'm not in a rush, but I am curious to continue. Then we have one I have one that's called Spellbook Library. I don't remember much of the end. We must have, the sun must be behind clouds. We've got touches of the Magnus Archive, not the Magnus Archives, the Magus of the Library, Magus of the Archives. I think that's the book. Very much Magus of the Archive vibes, in which you have to be, you have to go through trials to be this librarian, because the books themselves actually are grimoires that hold in check the power of the creatures trapped inside. And the main character, his best friend, was trapped in one of these grimoires, so he's actually trying to look. Yeah, his best friend's like a creature, a non-human, very powerful creature that was trapped inside a grimoire, so he's trying to find said grimoire to free his friend. So yes, this one's definitely a continuation, because again, anything that revolves around books, I'm going to want to try and look at. So then we've got Love's in Sight. High school punk falls hard for a local blind girl. He tries to find ways to include her in what he does. He tries to learn how she navigates the world and make it more accessible for her. Starts with little things like he starts a job at a video rental store, and a lot of the customers are older folk who are, you lose your eyesight when you get older. So he puts together like little explanation of what you find on this aisle. He tries to make the covers a little more bigger, big print so they can read. He tries to make the checkout, easier for those of sight impaired. It's cute. It's cute. I would like to continue this one if I can find more. Okay, so this is what happened. I'm like, I start doing, okay, here's all the ones. Now we'll go on to the 2s. And then I pick up a 3, and I'm like, oh wait, no, I still have these 2s. Or I only read one book of a series, and I'm like, okay, yeah, let's yap about all 5. Or in this case, just one story of all 5. So I'm on 3s, it seems. Did the Bocchi? I did those 2. The night blooms behind castle walls. This one was actually really cute. So it follows a girl who is training to be a knight in a medieval town, and you can tell there was a lot of research done on this one, because throughout the story there's little notes off to the side. You know how authors will sometimes put their this is what, thank you for reading this volume, this is stuff that's been happening in my life. The author here uses those little spots to talk about things that were common back then, like how did they eat food? Because cutlery wasn't really a thing. You all had your own personal knife, but plates weren't really a thing. What they did was like their plate was like a slab of bread. They might have what's called a truncheon. So it really depended on the if you had the money for it or not, I should say. Then the other thing that I liked about it was there would be chapters, at least one, maybe one chapter in each of the 3 books that had no dialogue. It was just told the whole story through the art, the sequential art. I love it when manga does that. I love it when comic books do that. They use the medium of art to tell the story. There is no need for dialogue. The art was cute too. The art was perfect for the story it was telling. The only problem is I don't know if it is a completed trilogy or if the author just kind of stopped and didn't want to continue, because the ending, while would work as a ending for a trilogy, kind of just leaves you like, I want more. Like, please tell me more of this story. Please tell what I want to see this, your female, your main character. I want to see the fulfillment of the path that she's chosen, which is her home was taken from her. She was the daughter of a landlord, a daughter of a knight, and she had her own fiefdom, and it was taken from her. But instead of taking the easy route of marrying another knight and have that knight reclaim her land, she's like, no, I'm going to become the knight and do it myself. And I want more of that story. But I can't find any notes on if it's continued or not. And then we have 3 Exorcism siblings. They so the monsters are labeled Tengu, but the only resemblance to Tengu they have is basically feathers. They don't have the iconic long nose. They feel more like Jikiniki. Yeah, I actually did look this up because I'm like, there's gotta be more man-eating yokai than just the Tengu, and I don't even think Tengu are known for being man-eaters. I'm not familiar with the Tengu as much as I am with like kitsunes and other yokai. And not even that. I think kitsunes were the only yokai I'm really familiar with. Oh, and Kappa. But I did look it up. I did ask, like, hey, is there a yokai that is known for eating humans? And it is called the Jikiniki. Jikiniki. I'm very sorry if I butchered that. But obviously, with me butchering as it is, I'm pretty sure Tengu was chosen because it's the easier name to say and is the more widely known outside of Japan. But either way, you've got 3 siblings, 3 boys, 3 brothers. They have no parents, they're all orphans. And the older brother is the one who has been trained to hunt and exercise the Tengu. Because, he's the oldest, he must carry on the family tradition. And that tradition involves basically forcing the poor kid to ingest Tengu blood so that he can become, 1, stronger than a normal human, and 2, basically be a walking bait. Because when the Tengu starts attacking normal humans, all he has to do is just be like, I smell better. But because this is manga, and manga has these type of stories has its own tropes, that actually, all that, forcing the power of a Tengu onto him turns him into a half Tengu, half human. So now not only does he have to protect humans from Tengu, he has to learn how to control his own powers, all the while trying to keep all the other exorcists off him. So he has the ultimatum of kill the OG Tengu, or we kill you. Obviously, I would like more of this, because it's only 3 books in, and I'm like, yes, please, I would like more. I just hope it doesn't run like the hundreds and hundreds of volumes like Bleach or Naruto or One Piece. Nothing against them. I just don't think the story needs to be that long. Okay. Then we have Ghost Diary. This one is a completed trilogy, and it is 100% adult. Straight off the bat. Also, incest is not wincest. It is kind of implied in Volume 1 that there is more to this relationship between the main character and his older sister who is missing, but it really doesn't come into the forefront until like book 3, and then it's just like hits you out of nowhere, and I'm just like, well, I was enjoying this ride and you just killed it for me. There's the starting incident is the younger brother, both the sister and the brother are exorcists, and the younger brother is part of a occult cult at his school because it's really the only friends that he can make, or the school weirdos. One of them, the leader of the group, is the great-grandson or grandson of a famous detective, and it's implied it's Sherlock Holmes, but it's not. One of the members is the son of a yokai, son of a Yakuza boss, but all he wants to do is just sit around and eat snacks all day. Plus, he has really bad eyesight. He's got those curly Q glasses. The third is a very shy daughter of a toy manufacturer. So, think Tomoya from Card Captors, except not as well. In just a really bad setting. Not a good setting. And her best friend / mouthpiece is a stuffed teddy bear, which is implied to be sentient. The fourth one is just a normal girl who, the only reason she joined was because the main character joined, and she has the hots for him. And so the occult group goes around and collects, rumors about the local, the city, and one of the rumors was this shrine behind a hospital. And the rumors was that it hosts a demon because it makes the people sick, when in reality it was a god who was protecting the humans, but the god can only do so much, and sometimes an illness slips through. So the young exorcist, not knowing any better, accidentally kills the god. And the god is like, well, you killed me, excuse me, what gave you the right to kill me, mortal? And so the sister's like, he's just a kid. He didn't know better. Take me instead. So the god does, and she disappears. Years later, they're still searching for the sister. They're still collecting rumors. He's trying to fill out, the ghost diary. So hopefully that it will bring her back. And they run into this Reaper who's got one eye, speaks French, and attaches herself to the group, saying, oh, I need you to complete the diary because I need my memories back. All the while trying to also get in the way so that they don't complete the diary. Makes no sense. Yes, I'm going to spoil this one. The Reaper is the sister. The god took her eye. A lot of shit happened to her while she was with the god, and the god took her eye as a way of protecting her, and also kind of wiped her memory. So now she has a split personality. Her soul is split. It's just, it gets so convoluted. The aliens end up appearing, and it's implied that that shit happens, and one of the aliens becomes really weak. So she hides her, like the alien hides itself within the body of the shy toy company girl. Obviously, memories are wiped. Then you have the leader of the group, the detective, the grandson of a detective who is a very bad detective. He just wants to follow in his grandfather's footsteps, but he sucks horribly at it. He has a major crush on the sister, but obviously the sister didn't replicate it because she has the hots for her younger brother because of fucking incense. And he's like, well, fuck, I can't do anything in life. You know what, I'm gonna sacrifice myself and just keep, stay in the yokai world, and I'm just gonna essentially die and become a yokai. And it just, shit happens. The younger brother sacrifices himself to save his best friend, which was the only non-crazy in the entire story. And she's still, no, I would say she's the sanest of the crazies, because she's crazy in her own right. And then, so it gets to the point where she's like, yeah, my boyfriend is a reaper, and I'm going to stay celibate and not date and marry anyone. And so by the time that I die, he's going to be the one so he can be the one who comes and collects my soul. Just okay. Books 1 and 2 were fine. It just got off the rail and just really killed it at book 3. Okay, that's actually it for the ones that I have written down in any sense of order. So now we're just gonna go in whatever order I have this written down, because here's the thing. When I went and looked to write the original list down, or the list that I'm looking at, I went and looked at Storygraph, and I have the Storygraph set to latest read, so it's, from the most recent all the way down to the bottom. And by the way, I'm looking at the Storygraph page. I have 157 manga. I'm not going to be talking about all of them because the most recent one that I have read, which was the Apothecary Diaries, is going to go in its own video, which will not happen this year because I want to do some more reading before I don't talk about that. Plus, I've read some of the Jane Austen adaptations, which will get spoken about when I talk about, because I spent all year reading Jane Austen, so they'll go talk about that. So I wrote down the manga as I was, from most recent to least recent. So I didn't write it in the order of how many I read of each, or did I read all of it, or how many, Oh, here, Dr. Stone. I read books 1 and 3 of Dr. Stone. Yeah, I'm not going to continue that one. I like the idea, don't get me wrong. It's a great idea, great concept. Just not for me. Okay, so then we have, I did Komi Can't Communicate. I do have some of these books with me because I haven't returned them to the library. Books 1 through 12, I only have the last 4. But books 1 through 12 of the Final Fantasy Lost Stranger manga. And this is actually an official manga licensed by Square Enix. It is actually published by the Square Enix, manga publishing. And it is actually not tied to any one particular game. So if you haven't played any of the Final Fantasy games, but you are interested in a lot of the lore of the games, this is actually really good. It does get a little convoluted though. Oh my god. we have been in one particular arc for about 5 or 6 books. Because we're still continuing the arc after this, and this right now I think is the most recently published, at least in English. I don't know if there's been any chapters published in like standalone, manga magazines. But it's an isekai. I will warn you, it is an isekai. Your main character here is actually works for Square Enix, and his sister also works for Square Enix. They somehow got, one's PR and I think the other is storytelling. Game development. I don't remember, but the sister is PR, which makes sense because she's got the personality for it. So they get isekai'd into the game because of, yes, Chaku. And not the game. It's they get isekai'd into a world that is heavily based off of everything in the Final Fantasy universe. The characters that they meet up with and the races that appear in this world are heavily from 14, the MMO. They don't have the names, like the same names as the races, so like the Mikote are called something else, the Lalafels are something else. But the main characters that we follow, like the group of friends that have essentially adopted the two isekai, we have a human white mage, a elven warrior, and a Rodigan black mage. And I swear to God, when I first saw the Rodigan, I thought he was an Avra, just because of the massive hair kind of had bits that looked like horns. There's also a little Moogle that follows them around. It kind of just disappears and reappears as needed, though. So he becomes, the main character becomes an archer, and the younger sister, unfortunately, I don't know what she picked up, because almost it's implied that she woke up in the world and was hanging out in the world long before he woke up. So she kind of has been buddy-buddy with the people longer than he, long before he showed up or woke up. But pretty early in the story, she gets killed off. No spoilers. It's like first or second chapter. So the whole point of the story is basically trying to find the lost spells, like Rise and Phoenix Down, so that he can literally raise her from the dead, while trying to also find a way to get back home. And just like every Final Fantasy game, it's convoluted as heck. At one point, we get to meet the Magnus sisters. There is a Kingdom of Mericidia. Ara, Hrothgar, and Viera do show up. Obviously, they have different names. But right now we only see one Viera, and it's a female, obviously, and one male Hrothgar. There is a Cid, because of course there's a Cid in every Final Fantasy. It's a male Mikote, or whatever the equivalent is. And there's 3 Ara that we meet, and it's implied that there's part of the enemy, like they're the bad guys. Because, of course, the dragon can have to be the bad guys. I hope they're not. I hope it's a red herring, but we shall see. Let's see. What else is there outside of the Magnus Sisters, Mericidia? Oh, the Gold Saucer, like the basically the arc that we are currently on, takes place in the Gold Saucer, which is also on the Big Bridge, and is run by Alexander. Like, all the stuff that is, like, all the magic tech that run everything in the Gold Saucer / Big Bridge is powered by Alexander, the castle. Because of course it's Alexander. Let's see. There is a reference to the Great Kubo Library from Final Fantasy XIV. That was a fun little mini arc. Ifrit is, like, I think Ifrit is a summon. Ixion is a summon, but they only show up for like one page. Oh, if you know that, if you've played Final Fantasy XIV, there is a character named Teleji Alereji. And yes, it is also Potato in this game. He is also a potato. I don't know, so he just showed up in like book 11 and 12, so I don't know if we have to punt this potato, this particular Teleji Alereji, but there's a character with that name. And if you know the game, you know why I want to punt him. Yeah, I'm a little iffy on recommending this one. If you like Final Fantasy, or you have no idea what Final Fantasy is, and you just kind of want to learn the lore, because the fun thing about this being an isekai is when a character shows up that has the same name as characters from other games, then said character will be like, oh, these are characters from these games. There are, whatever game has Cecil as your main character, the two twin mages show up in one of in the books, as the tutors of the Princess of Merceria. So they, while don't play an important role, they do kind of hang around when they are in the Merceria arc. So that was kind of cute. That, yes, they do harken back to older games. As far as I know, 9 is probably the oldest game. I haven't seen anything from 8, but 8 or 7, and that's just because 8 and 7 are like very outside of your typical fantasy. I would love to see mentions of 10, because 10 and 12 are like my two favorite numbered games outside of 14. One of my also personal favorites is Crystal Chronicles, and I highly doubt there'll be mentioning of Crystal Chronicles, because that is its own universe. But yeah, I mean, yeah, I would read it if you like Final Fantasy, or if you're curious about it but don't want to deal with the games. I am just giving you a heads up. Final Fantasy gets convoluted, and this is no exception. This gets very convoluted. So, will I continue? Yes. I'm already 12 books in. I am invested. Alright. Toilet Bound Hanako-San, of which I have read from the library 8. I will not be continuing this series, though. Nothing against the series itself. I mean, take that back. This has touches of everything that I love. Yokai, ghost stories, the main character's fated to die within a year, and one of the characters is like, well, you know, screw that, I'm gonna try to find a way to save her. But I don't know. There's a lot going on, and it feels to me that a lot is gonna get dragged out. Like they're continuing the story longer than it really needs to be, and I don't know if I want to continue this. I don't know if I want to. I maybe if it comes out with a manga, like, not sorry. Maybe when I see when the manga is finished, I might continue, because that way I can binge the rest. Or if they have an anime and the anime actually is like a very good adaptation of the manga, and then I'll go that route. But I don't know. ticks a lot of boxes that I like. It covers a lot that I enjoy in this, this genre of books. But I don't know. It's an iffy one for me. I think my favorite book my favorite was book 2. But that's just because they had the kitsune in it. Okay. Natsume's Book of Friends. I only have 4 volumes on me, but that's volume 19. And I have actually read all 19 so far this year. This one is a lot shorter to talk about because each chapter is very episodic. There is character growth. There is like an overlooking plot through line, but each chapter still feels very episodic. And it's basically Natsume can see yokai, where most people can't. This friend cannot see as well. This guy gets to the point where if he sees a human spirit or a yokai that looks very human, has a hard time telling if it's a yokai, a ghost, or an actual human being. This one can kind of get the vibes, like there's a yokai around. She can't see yokai at all, but has a spell that allows her to see it. Like she draws something on a spell circle on the floor. And that, they met because she got in trouble. Like the yokai that, she summoned, didn't summon, the yokai that walked into the circle was like, oh, you can see me? Well, I'm gonna kill you now. Not really, but yes, I'm gonna put a curse on you. So that's how they met. But one of the things is this little guy, Sensei, is basically his guardian, his protector, Natsume's protector, and yet at the same time wants Natsume dead because the titular Book of Friends is harken back to that the old magic of if you know someone's name, someone's true name, you have total control over them. So that's what the Book of Friends is. The Book of Friends, it was Natsume's grandmother collected all these names of these yokai and now has all the power over them. And Sensei, the cat, wants that, because he wants the power. He wants to be, rule over and control all these yokai. Natsume doesn't. He's like, I want to hold on to this because it's my grandmother. This is the only thing I have of my grandmother. And his grandmother had the same powers that he had. But, so it's basically him trying to survive, the yokai trying to kill him for the book, or the yokai is coming, hey, can I have my name back? He gives them back the name, or just, there's a group of exorcists, so he kind of gets roped in with helping out humans and yokai relationships. He's basically becoming a mediator. It's an older series, and when I say older, I mean, when was, sorry, they do this in the back. 2015. So, not that old. I mean, I've read manga, probably have a couple of series from the 90s that are on my to-be-read list. But I can't find anymore because the Tokyo Pop only ran them once and didn't do a lot of other reprints. So either way, that's beside the point. So this is actually a completed series. I will try and finish them next year, but I have to see if my library has, because every time I go to my library, I'm like, hey, book 20. Like, at one point, it took me a while to even get to book 10, because every time I looked at the library, there's like, oh no, we don't have book 10. Well, now the library is saying, oh, we don't have book 20. Excuse me, but you have every other book. So I'm still going to request it. Modao Zhu Shi, or the Grandmaster Cultivation. I'm not going to talk about that one now. That one's probably going to get its own video. Flying Witch. Flying Witch is basically a slice of life where, think Kiki's delivery service, but instead of her becoming a witch through, learning to be a witch through, helping this baking, this bakery, being, a flying witch is basically just everything about the witchcraft of this story's world. And it's definitely a slice of life vibe, and it's cute. I am actually waiting for a couple volumes on hold from the library, and it's been a while, and I'm kind of chomping at the bit for that. But yeah, that one I will like to continue. I love a good slice of life. The two of them are pretty much like this. That one is a 4-volume story of it's basically a lesbian couple. You've got the older of the two is a screenwriter. The younger of the two is a budding voice actress. And they have to navigate the fact that, yeah, as a voice actress, you really can't be publicly dating anyone because the way people are with, my voice actress has to be pure. So they manage, and it's cute. Didn't care much for the ending though. For some reason, it just felt out of. I wouldn't say it felt out of left field, but it felt like there was a jump that we didn't. Like there was a jump that was like that didn't. Things happen. The story felt like it's leading up to one place, and then all of a sudden we just jump to something else. I'm like, what? Okay. Yeah, it's cute though. It's definitely kind of, I would recommend it if you don't mind, if you want a little lesbian cuteness. I am the villainess, so I am taming the final boss. It's another 4-volume story. It's one of those isekais, except instead of the person is kind of reborn as the villainess in the story, and she's like, shit, I kind of die at this point, and I don't want to do that, so I'm gonna rewrite the game. It's a game, yeah. So I'm gonna rewrite the story of the game so that I can stay alive, and the only way to do that is to go to the final boss and basically be like, marry me. The twist is that the Saintess, the protagonist character of the game, is also isekai into this world. And basically, so the villainess isekai is just like, I want to survive and I want to live. And the Saintess is like, well, this world is a game. I'm gonna make it mine. Obviously, we are following the villainess, so obviously the villainess is the winner. It could continue. Like, I wish the story could continue, but the ending is kind of perfect. Like, you didn't need to. You got your happily ever after. You don't need to have that continued on. At the end of the day, yes, they are gonna get married. Yes, the 3 asshole characters, i.e. the Crown Prince, the Saintess, and the Crown Prince's bodyguard, all get their comeuppance because, the world realized, oh shit, this guy's an asshole. The Demon King, who was the original Crown Prince, or should have been the Crown Prince because he's the oldest, is like, yeah, I can roll both, sure, I kind of don't want to, but I mean, if you're asking. So, A Study in Scarlet. I actually got a hold of a copy of the manga adaptation to Sherlock Holmes' A Study in Scarlet. And I actually enjoyed it because it took a lot of the slog that happened in the book and trimmed it down to like a couple pages because, you have the medium of art. So you can take 5 paragraphs and condense it into half, a 2-page spread. Or not even a 2-page spread, but like the top half of a page. Which goes... And honestly, I don't think that part of the story would have really mattered. But it was written how it was. And it's the first of the Sherlock Holmes stories. I do wish they would do the other 3 novels. They don't have to do all the individual short stories. But the other 3 novels I would like to see, especially The Hound of Baskerville. That is obviously my favorite of the 4 novels. Speaking of Sherlock Holmes, I do want to continue reading the short stories for you guys. But the manga adaptations for Emma, Pride and Prejudice, and Sense and Sensibility, I will talk about when I talk about the Jane Austen books. Let's see. Dinosaur Sanctuary. Oh god, that one's so cute. I've read all 6 books that are out right now. Basically think Jurassic Park, but more slice of life. And trying to save the zoos that host the dinosaurs, or not if not the zoo, the research facilities that study them and all that. So basically, the premise of it is, after World War II, they found this island off the coast of Japan that had actual living dinosaurs that had not evolved in the years since, dinosaurs in modern age, or at least modern for the 40s. So they were just, oh my gosh, dinosaurs exist. Big, huge boom. They were able to breed enough to have parks and fill in the missing gaps of at least the Asian dinosaurs. And then the 80s came around, and in the 80s we got DNA. So now, in modern times, at least modern for the book, which is implied to be modern now, they have all the dinosaurs. But, well, you can't have dinosaurs without having, they're all carnivores, and they're like wild animals. They're not tamed. And what happened was, an event happened, and someone kind of got a little complacent around one of the big dinosaurs. One of the, I don't think it was a T-Rex. I think it was like one of the other big carnivores. And the dinosaur got out. Dinosaur killed someone. And the dinosaur would have, if the people around them had not acted fast enough, the dinosaur would have been able to breach containment and get to where the guests are. Lucky enough, they got the doors closed just in time to stop it. Its head was out. Unfortunately, the head and shoulders managed to get out, but the door didn't crush it, so they had to, they still had to kill the dinosaur because it killed its handler, the human. And maybe one other, I don't remember. We get that in book 2, so it's no spoilers. We get that event. But ever since that event, things drop. Like, oh shit, we forgot dinosaurs. Or, dinosaurs. So, yeah. But yes, that one is definitely, if you like dinosaurs, do read it. It's really cute, and they draw the dinosaurs in such a good way. And it's a mix of the scaly stuff that you see in Jurassic Park with the modern idea of them having feathers. Oh, and the velociraptors. They do get the velociraptors cute. They're tiny. So, that one I highly recommend. Kubo Won't Let Me Be Invisible, books 1 through 5. So think, if you've read Komi Can't Communicate, think Tadano as the main character, but instead of, Tadano is so much of a background character that he kind of just disappears. Even when he's sitting in class, everybody looks over him. Like, just, oh, this guy, is he here? Is he here? I don't see him. He must be, and the guy's like, no, I'm here. Oh. But the girl who sits next to him, Kubo, can see him. And kind of forces him to interact. And he's like, I'm perfectly fine being the wallflower. I don't care. And she's like, yeah, no, you're not allowed to be a wallflower. So, and so he's just like, well, okay, how is it that you see me? And we find out that everybody in her family can see him. It's like a special trait they have. It's a little slice of life. It's not as cute as Komi can communicate, but I would like to continue it. So, yeah. Living Room Matsunaga-San. I've read volumes 1 through 6, and I think the library has all the volumes. I'm just not sure if I want to continue it. It's, basically, a high schooler moves into a boarding house run by her uncle, and she is the youngest of the boarders. There are, I think, 2 guys and 3 girls, or 3 guys and 3 girls, and she's, again, the youngest. Everybody else is like college or adults, and she just happens to kind of fall in love with a guy who is in his 20s. And I'm iffy on age gap romance. Like, some of them I can be like, okay, fine. Nah. And then others I'm like, nah, no man, I'm not gonna read this. And this one's on that fence of, okay, fine, but at the same time I don't want to continue. But the library has all of them, so I'm kind of like, it is definitely implied that she's gonna end up with him, and I don't know. I don't think I think what it is I don't think they work well with each other. He is. No, I don't think their personalities mesh. I think that's the reason why I'm not a big fan of this pairing. Less the age gap, more vibe checks. Spy X Family. This year I read books 5 through 13. Obviously, I read books 1 through 4 beforehand, through the past couple of years. Yes, I can see why this one is a popular story. Yes, I would like to continue. I don't know if I'll be getting a hold of the anime, because I've got a couple of the things that I want to watch, and I've already read the manga, at least up to current English translation. But this one I did recommend, and I can see why it's quite popular. Anya is best girl, and Bond is best dog. And yeah. No. Sorry, I've got the Dotsons. There we go. You can be cute and sleep next to me, but I don't need the loving. I don't need the kisses. Record of Lodoss War, Crown of the Covenant. I mean, I would like to continue if they want to continue, but right now it all looks like only 3 books are out, and this is definitely not a Night Blooms Behind the Castle Walls, because that one was an iffy ending. This one is, no, it feels like they want to continue, but they just stopped after book 3. So I don't even know if I want to recommend that. Artwork is great, and if you like the Lodoss War story, I don't know if it's any, it's supposed to be a continuation and what happens after the anime OVA. I don't know. I need that one. I do want to watch though, since it's technically a classic. But do I want to recommend something that I don't even know if it's going to continue or not? even with the way that the third book is ended, because again, it feels like they wanted to continue, but then just stopped. Night blooms behind castle walls. I would like it to continue, but where it ended is a decent ending. The Strange Adventures of a Broke Mercenary, books 1 through 3. It's obviously a strange title, gotta hold it. This one is neither an isekai, not a rebirth or reincarnation story. It's basically what it sounds like. Guy's broke, wants to retire, can't retire because he's broke, so he's like, well, screw that, I'm gonna become a mercenary. Ends up with crappy equipment and just kind of in a really bad situation. Saves the life of some chick's like, hey, I'll hire you to be my bodyguard. By the way, I'm a demon. And just shenanigans happen. I think there's more continuations to it. I just have not been able to get a hold of them. I'm kind of curious though. This one would be a fun one to continue. Mashle, Magic and Muscle, volume 17 and 18. So this one was a long time coming. I've been reading it on and off, and it's finished. If you like Harry Potter, if you like dumb shit, but epic, it's a better Harry Potter, I'll say that. It is... it's Harry Potter. There's no denying that Harry Potter had a lot of... the mangaka really took heavy from Harry Potter, but made it his own. And honestly, it's a better story. And I need to watch the anime now. But yeah, I recommend Mashle. Especially, it's 18 volumes. It's not a long story, and it wraps up nicely. There is the option to continue, but there's no need. It's 10 out of 10. I will recommend Mashle. And lastly, Love Hina, volumes 1 through 5. I know I have shorts of the early volumes, but it took me a while to even get to volume 5. I had planned to read all 14 this year. Look what that got me. Because I just kept banging my head against the book, because yeah, though I recognize I am not the target audience, and the 90s were a very particular time in harem stories. I mean, harem stories of their own are kind of interesting, but I mean, to be fair, to be honest, one of my favorite animes is a reverse harem. And it's only one season anime. I tried reading the manga and was kind of want to get back to it, but I wasn't impressed with the manga. I like the one season anime. And it's Orion High School Host Club, by the way. So I'm not against the harem or reverse harem. This one's just not my flavor. I just happen to have all of them. So I might be popping up with another video maybe sometime next year or in other years talking about the whole series in of itself. So I'm going to hold off my final judgment. But I can just tell you right now the my thoughts on it, outside of I really miss I all of these little tabs here is basically the artwork that I liked, the outfits of the characters, because I kind of do like miss 90s outfits, but the story itself is just like, and like I said, that's kind of what I want to do with Mo Dao Zushi, or the Grandmaster of Demonic Cultivation. I kind of want to talk about that whole series when I read it. The other series that I have read, granted, I've only read manga book 1, light novels book 1 and 2, and season 1 of the anime was the Apothecary Diaries. I want to talk about that one later because I want to compare the anime, at least season 1, to books 1 and 2 of the light novels, to books 1 through 8 of the manga. And right now I've only read book 1 because the library has only digital copies right now, and it's a month wait for each one. Because of course it is. This is kind of a reason why I don't like reading things that are popular, because I don't want the wait. Either way, thank you for sitting with me for this long-ass video. I will see you next time with whatever I end up wanting to talk about. Maybe it's the Jane Austen novels. We'll see. Bye.